Okay, so on your test, you're going to be asked to look at an equation, a piece value equation, to determine if it's a function. And the thing that you look at to determine if it's a function, it should have the same number in each of the restrictions, but only one of them should have a bar, because we want it to have the same breaking point. We want one branch to stop at 3, branch to start at 3. Ask you to determine whether or not it is a continuous function, and it's going to be a continuous function where one branch stops. That's where the other branch starts. And the way you find that out is to plug in these endpoints into each branch, into the equation of each branch. So I am going to plug this 3 in right here. I'm going to plug this 3 in right here, and I'm going to calculate 3 minus 5. It's going to give me -2. This one I'm going to calculate 3 times 3, and I'm going to get 9. Is this function continuous? No. Why? The y values of the endpoints are different. These are y values right here. The y values of the endpoints are different. That's how we know it's not. So that means that one of these graphs, let's see if this was a graph, and I'm going to show you the graph in just a second, but one of these graphs at 3, -2 is where one of them has an open circle, because I plugged in 3 and I calculated -2. So one of them has an open circle at 3, -2. The other one's going to have a filled in circle because of this bar right here, has a filled in circle at 3, 9. Okay, so this one I think is going to go up like this, and this one I think is going to go something like that. So but we're going to go to the calculator and see. So one of the things that I wanted to go over with you on the calculator, if you want to start over every time so that you don't see old things that are graphed, then just press the home button and go to new, or press number 1. Let me try that again. Go to the home button and press number 1, and it's going to say, do you want to save it? And you say no. And then you just get a new whatever you want, a calculator page or a graphs page. I want a new graphs page. And so see, it gave me the first available line to graph on. I'm going to do this piecewise function. So I'm going to click the template menu, and I'm going to grab the piecewise function template, and I'm going to type in x minus 5 in the first box, and here I'm going to type in x. Here's where I get my less than or equal to, so control equal, and I want this one less than, and then I'm going to type in 3, come down here to this box, type in 3x, and go right here to this box and type in x is control equal greater than or equal to 3. Press enter, and let's see, might have to remember the other one was up at 9. There it is. So I need to get those together. Need to change my window to see it. See, there's the top graph, there's the bottom graph. I can change my window. Menu, window, let's do settings, and I want to do x needs to be down, -5 is fine, but the y needs to be up at, let's say, 12. And then oh no, that was, I don't need that much. That was, let's say, 6. It was the y value that needs to be up at 12. And the bottom one needs to be like at -6. Okay, there, now we can see it. So we've got part of it being graphed up here, the other part being graphed down here. It's hard to see. The dot, you can't really see the open and closed dot. That's why you have to pay attention to that. So it's not continuous. What is the domain? If these two numbers are the same, then the domain is going to be all real numbers. That should be easy. Negative infinity to positive infinity. And then find g of 0, g of 3, and g of negative 1. So that means I'm going to plug in 0. But I got to figure out which branch to plug it into. This one says I can plug in numbers that are smaller than 3. Is 0 smaller than 3? Yes. Then I'm going to plug 0 in, and then I'm going to simplify. So g of 0 is negative 5. That means that I have a dot at 0, negative 5. G of 3, where does the 3 go? It goes where the bar is. So we plug that in. I've already plugged that in up there. I got 9. That means when I go to 3, I have to go up here at 9 and put a dot. And then g of negative 1. G of negative 1. Negative 1 is a number that's smaller than 3. So negative 1 goes right there. Negative 1 minus 5. That gives me negative 6. That means over here, if I go to the left, negative 1, I'll have to go down to negative 6 to find my dot. Okay, is this a function? Yes, it is, because I've got one bar. I'm looking at h of x now. Is h of x a function? Yes, it is. I've only got one bar. My numbers are the same, so that means they have they break at the x equals 2 spot. To find out if it's continuous, I'm going to plug 2 into both of these. I'm going to plug 2 in right here. So I'm going to get the absolute value of 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is negative 3, and the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. I'm going to plug in negative 2 in right here. Plug the negative 2 in right there. So I have 1 minus 3 times negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. So, I made a mistake. I should have plugged in negative 2. Negative 2 and negative 5 should be negative 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is 7. I knew these were supposed to be continuous. Then this one, positive 6 plus 1, that comes out to be 7. So I got 7 on each branch. So what is the y value, the inputting of each branch? 7 and 7. So is the function continuous? Yes. Why? Because I got 7 on both branches. What is the domain? The domain is going to be all real numbers. Why? Because these two numbers are the same. If there was a gap in the two numbers, then I would have to check and make sure that the gap doesn't overlap. If it does, then it wouldn't be a function. And then I'm just going to plug in these numbers. H of negative 5 means plug in negative 5 into which branch? Negative 5 is a number less than negative 2. So I'm going to plug it in right here. 1 minus 3 times negative 5. And of course, don't forget you can do this on the calculator. You just need a calculator page. So I'm going to do Control I, insert a calculator page. And now I can just do exactly what I just typed in. I can do 1 minus 3 parentheses. Whoops, forgot my parentheses. Negative 5. And press enter, and it tells me that it is 16 because 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 1 is 16. So that answer comes out to be 16. And then h of negative 2. Find out where h of negative 2, find out where the negative 2 goes. There's the bar, so it goes in the top one. So it's absolute value of negative 2 minus 5. We did that one while ago when we plugged in negative 2. We got absolute value of negative 7. So that's 7. And then we're going to do h of 0. H of 0, where does 0 go? 0 is a number that's bigger than negative 2. So we're going to plug it in up here as well. Absolute value of 0 minus 5. That's the absolute value of negative 5. So that's 5.